transmission. What do you mean?
Like, why do you rely on being the word of God?
Oh, okay. So one, like, I feel confident that we can trace what I read today going back to the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And the other reason also is because I don't believe that it was possible for the Prophet Muhammad to produce the Quran. So the Quran has like prophecies, for example, no one knows the future but God alone. The Quran speaks of information that wasn't known either to the Prophet or to...
Actually, I could argue that there were many Greek philosophers during the time of Muhammad who, those scientific miracles that Ali Dawah himself even says have been debunked. I could argue that Muhammad stole those from other Greek scientists and Greek philosophers, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't really consider them miracles.
So the Greek like scientists and Greek thought they hadn't yet been translated into Arabic until like, the next century. And also if you look at the comparisons as well, there's similarities, but there's also differences as well.
But you know, they don't have to be translated directly to Arabic for the thought process to be shown. For example, if I speak Greek and I've read Aristotle at that time, and then I speak to Arabs and I translate that message to them and I tell them what Aristotle was saying, I don't have to translate the book itself for them for the ideas to cross the cultures.
Yeah, so it could be like not known like orally.
Yeah.
But also if you look at the differences as well, so like when the Quran speaks about the human embryo,
but you have problems.
It's still different from Gallion.
But you have problems with the embryo.
Such as?
Like you say bone was formed before flesh.
Sorry?
You say bone was formed before flesh.
Yeah, so the Quran doesn't make mention at what time did the bones come into existence.
Well, it says it's before.
Wait, do you know exactly what?
It says then
do you know exactly what?
It says the bones are formed, then they're clothed with flesh. Is what it says. But that's not what happens in embryology.
But I don't believe the Quran says that anyway.
But it does.
Let's see the Quran. Let's open.
Oh, okay.
It says the bones were clothed with flesh.
After that, I've got something else to say regarding the Quran.
So I think the verse you're referring to is...
is that Sahih International? Or?
It's Adil Salahi.
Oh, okay.
Do you prefer the Arabic? Or?
Is there a translation in English for it?
Yeah, this one's a good
It's fine. This is fine. I don't really care.
So I believe it's still 23 verse 11. No. So indeed we created man out of essence of clay, and then we placed him a gamete in the same place of rest.
And then we create out of the gamete a clinging cell mass, and out of the clinging cell mass we create an embryo. Then we create within the embryo bones. So it's talking about it in order.
Yeah, bones are created, and then what happens? We clothe the bones with flesh. That's not correct in embryology. You don't have bones that are then clothed with flesh.
Sorry, just 1 second.
I've seen embryologists talk on this as well. They agree that this is incorrect. And I doubt it says cell mass either. I'm pretty sure that's incorrect. I think it's more translated as just clump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, embryonic lump or clump, not a cell mass. Then we clothed into bones. Then with flesh.
Oh, then with flesh, even
So
what?
you have bones, then you have flesh that the bones are clothed with.
Yeah, so isn't this referencing the embryonic lump and not the bones?
the embryonic lump.
Yeah.
Then we created it into bones, and then we clothed into
Those are
bones.
two different things.
Then with flesh, the bones. Another. We create within the embryonic lump bones, then we clothe the bones with flesh.
So the way I've understood it is the bones, in what order the bones were created is not mentioned, but it implies that the bones existed and then God clothed the bones.
So the bones, and then they're clothed with flesh. So this is incorrect. Flesh exists in embryology before the bones are formed. So you don't have bones that are then clothed with flesh. You have flesh, then bones are formed within.
Yeah, but this isn't saying it in that sequence. It doesn't mention.
But it does though,
It
because
does.
in order to have bones that are then clothed with flesh, the bones must predate the flesh, because clothed is an action that is happening to the bones. So if the action of clothing with flesh is happening to the bones therefore must pre-exist the flesh that is clothed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a point that we're not going to agree on.
Also, another thing I like to say, Islam
Embryologists disagree as well.
is the Quran also has how do I say it? Mistakes regarding Christian dogma and what we believe in. So the Quran thinks that we worship Mary, but in no way do we worship Mary. None of our dogma says that we worship Mary. No Muslim can prove to us that we worship Mary. So I don't understand why the Quran would imply that. So how would you answer that? Because I've never asked this question to a
Yes,
Muslim.
so Muslim definition of someone taking something as divine or as an object of worship can also include like petition or supplication or giving them like some form of divine attribute.
But we don't give Mary divine attributes. We just say that she is in heaven with God, with her son, and she's living eternal life under the grace of God.
So I don't mean you specific, but are there like people in the world who petition Mary and ask her for like divine help?
No, we don't ask Mary for divine help.
I don't mean you specific.
Not even Christians. Orthodox, Catholics, and Protestants, obviously. None of them ask Mary for divine help. The divine help only comes from God. Matter of fact, our church condemns people. Well, there was a sect of people one time but this was long after Islam, where there were people worshipping Mary, where there were people asking her for divine help, and who took her as part of the Trinity, or not part of the Trinity, but as a goddess. And the church condemned those people. I forgot what the heresy was called specifically, but there were people after Islam worshipping Mary.
So you believe that Jesus never taught that?
Sorry?
So do you believe Jesus never taught people to ask Mary for divine help?
Yeah, Jesus never taught. No,
So this is the
not
Quran's
one.
point.
Yeah, but
So you actually agree with the Quran?
Yeah, I know that, but
Jesus
no,
never
you
said.
can't bring me dogma, nor a church prior to Islam, and even during the time of Muhammad, where there was Christians worshipping Mary. You can't.
Yeah, so the Quran isn't saying that this is the belief of Christians all over the world, but what the Quran is like giving
No, but the Quran is saying Christians, meaning generally.
It doesn't say Christian
So-
generally, yeah. It's basically,
No,
it says
sorry,
on
not
the Day of
Christian.
Judgment.
It says, was it which surah was it again?
It's in chapter 5. It's like towards the end.
Is that Maryam? Al-Maryam. What is worship to like? So do you think that we worship Mary because we like prostrate to the icons, etc.,
I personally
etc.?
don't know what you believe or what you do in your liturgy.
Because I think maybe Muhammad thought we were worshipping, we worship the icons and we worship Mary because we prostrate to the icons.
But you know, there's many denominations, many churches, and some have been condemned as being heretic.
Yeah, but none of them have ever worshipped Mary.
But you just admitted that there were a group
After Islam. So it wouldn't be. There was nobody around during the
So
time.
this is said like on the Day of Judgment. So God basically says to Jesus, did you say unto the people? So
I've not got the desire to learn.
Okay,
Or even ready to, because I'm happy the way that my
in
life
verse
is at the moment.
116, God will say,
but
Jesus,
also
son
as
of
well,
Mary,
if I'm happy
did
with
you
the way
say
that
to
my life is at the
people,
moment,
so this
and
is
I've got
like on
no
the day
will
of
and no
judgment,
desire to go in another direction,
worship me,
I'm going to say impossible to pull me in that direction.
Mother, as
I don't mind
deities,
listening to
as
you.
deities
I
beside
don't mind
God.
listening to
and
people.
Jesus said,
And I
limitless
respect,
are
I respect,
you.
I respect what you say, because you
I could have
you
never
totally
claimed
believe
what I have,
in what you
what
say.
I have
I've
no
known.
right to say.
And I respect
See,
that.
I said,
But
so
I will
this
say,
is
have known it.
this is
everybody's the
indicating
same.
that there were people, there were Christians or the Christians
Not
on earth.
necessarily what you would call Christian, but there were a group of people that took Jesus and his mother as deities besides God or not with God.
But not during the time of Muhammad, neither prior to the time of
Yeah, so
Muhammad.
this is like you could say a prophecy of the future. So on the day of judgment, God will
No,
question,
because
God
this
will ask Jesus, and Jesus said, "Never said I such a thing." He never said worship me, nor did
But
he
this
say
is,
to worship his mother.
but Muhammad was talking about the present age. When he was reciting that, he was talking about the present age.
So where do you get the present day?
Let's read a bit from a bit more other verses.
Sure,
Before.
no problem. Do you have a Quran, by the way?
Yeah, in my bag, but it's soaked wet now, and I don't want to
Okay,
take it
no
because of
worries,
the.
yeah. So this is like in reference to like the final meal, or like some Last Supper that Jesus shares with the disciples. And then it goes on to say that
God, our Lord, said Jesus, Son of Mary, send down upon us a repast from heaven. It shall be an ever-occurring feast for us, for the first and the last of us, and a sign from you, and provide us our sustenance, for you are the best provider. God replied, I am sending it down to you, but whoever of you disbelieves after this, I shall inflict on him suffering, the like of which I have not inflicted on anyone in the world. And God will say, Jesus, Son of Mary, did you say to people, worship me and my mother as deities beside God? Jesus answered, limitless are you in your glory. I could never have claimed what I have no right to say. Had I said this, you would certainly have known it. This can be, to be you're right, this can be interpreted many ways.
So this could be understood as a prophecy, like on the day of.
It
So
could
the
actually.
Quran is denying that Jesus ever made such a claim.
I'd rather read the tafsirs. Could we open up the tafsirs for this? Because the tafsirs actually, also, I'm pretty sure the tafsirs would agree with me. I'm pretty sure.
So you know the Quran is like the Quran is regarded as like the final revelation up until the day of judgment. So the Quran is not just sent to Muhammad and to his contemporaries, but also 10 to 8.
What time do you want to go? What time is it? Okay, 7:49. Okay.
5, it's Surah 5 verse 116.
Surah 5. Verse 150, right?
16.
Oh, 116.
Yeah, the next verse.
Oh, bro, why is it going to Surah 6?
There's a mention that is attributed to Aisha about if your wife
Okay, there's no notes down there. But here it says, and when Allah will say, O Jesus, Son of Mary, did you say to the people, take me and my mother as deities beside Allah? He will say, exalted are you, for me. I said not to them, you commanded me to worship Allah, my Lord and my Lord. So what does the tafsir say?
So this is more like a summary of like I guess the popular tafsirs.
Could we go to like the actual like references? Because I actually
reference to
instead of ChatGPT.
I know, but okay, can I say, when you're going to get to the point?
So Ibn Kathir interprets it to refer to the Day of Judgment.
So Jesus will declare his innocence on the day of judgment, rejecting any claim of divine status. Okay.
So all of the people from the time of Jesus up until the time of the Day of Judgment, Jesus will say, like, I never told them to worship me or my mother, and that God is like a witness over people.
So even prior to Muhammad.
So before, basically from the time of Jesus up until the Day of Judgment. So the time of.
So the tafsir is agreeing with me basically that people were worshipping Mary and Jesus prior to Muhammad and after Muhammad and during the times of Muhammad.
Well, the tafsir
Because
says that verse refers to the Day of Judgment. So on the Day of Judgment, God will ask Jesus, did you say unto people, worship my mother?
Well, regarding how the Quran thinks that we worship Mary. But my question, but that's not really answering my question, because I will also agree with
Isn't
that.
your point that this only refers to Christians?
My point is that that verse is also saying that the Christians at the time of Muhammad and prior to Muhammad were also worshipping Mary.
Referring to Christians, and then it's saying that they worship Mary.
That tafsir doesn't really answer anything.
And then even if it's within the context of Quranic, which is only Quranic.
Oh, that was the heresy. Yes, that was the heresy. Yes.
That's one group which is only mentioned in one text, which is 300 years before the Quran. And even if we accept that that group still was existent in 7th century Arabia, it doesn't make sense for the Quran to make general statements about Christians and then talk about worshiping Mary. Well, this is an almost extinct group.
It's not solely mentioning Mary, but also Jesus as well.
Yeah, but it's saying worshiping
But
Mary.
it's also Mary, but we don't worship Mary.
Yes, so maybe you don't, but there are other Christians who have in the past.
Yeah, in the past, but not anymore.
So on the Day of Judgment, God will say.
A random heretical group, a fringe heretical group in Arabia, which we're not even
sent to fringe people as well,
yeah,
and to so-called heretical people.
But it doesn't mention.
And not just mainstream.
It doesn't mention Hindu belief. It doesn't mention Zoroastrian belief. It doesn't mention every belief under
I
the
think
sun.
Zoroastrians could be argued are mentioning it.
Okay.
You have to first and foremost.
They
It doesn't mention.
They believe
It doesn't
in different
mention
things.
every single belief set known to man. It makes no sense to mention
It's
a
a mixed
fringe.
general statement.
It doesn't make sense to make a general statement about Christianity in reference to a fringe group which we don't even know if it existed at the time of Muhammad. We have no clue if it was still existent at that time.
Okay, well, let's say for argument's sake, this group hasn't yet come into existence.
No,
but
it would
may
have.
come in the
no,
future.
no,
so
That's not the case.
saying
It would have
it's not
existed
falsifiable.
beforehand.
Before.
But there's
The
no.
verse doesn't say they existed.
Well, Collyridians did exist beforehand. That's the
Wait, were they 300? Were they 300 years before or after?
So 300 years before.
Before.
So that's the
Okay.
general,
There we
and that's
go.
only one mention of Collyridian.
So could there be another group in the future?
There would, but there
could
wasn't.
hypothetically-
There could, but there wasn't.
There could hypothetically have been another fringe group again, which has no real historic demonstration of.
And that group could actually go on to
believes
become
that Mary
famous
was,
or popular.
but it has not.
But like in the future, because the Quran is saying
But
on the Day
it
of
never
Judgment.
happened in the future. It hasn't happened.
Yes,
Nor will
so
it ever
we-
happen.
We don't know that for sure.
But we
He's
do
saying
know
it could
that for
happen
sure.
in the future
But
that people
it-
start
So
worshiping.
in that sense, the statements are unfalsifiable.
Yeah, but it's been 2,000 years, nothing's happened. Like, no one's been worshipping Mary.
But Jesus still hasn't returned as well, according to your beliefs. But he will come back in the future.
Yes, but that still doesn't really
So this is
answer.
in reference to
But
the
that still
Day of
doesn't.
Judgment.
But that still doesn't really answer the question, though, because you're saying hypothetically, but right now we're not talking about hypothetically. We're talking about the reality. We're not, hypothetically, if they come, which they won't, doesn't really mean anything to us.
So in
Because
reality, according to the Quran, it's sent up until the Day of Judgment.
yes,
So it's not just.
but right
present
now
and
the
past.
track that us Christians are on, there will be no point in time ever we will worship Mary. Like literally
Do
never.
you
On the
worship
track,
Jesus?
yes, I worship Jesus. But my
So
point,
this verse is
my
still
point,
relevant to
my
you.
point isn't my point isn't about Jesus. It's about Mary. Secondly, if it's
should
no
be
wait
about Jesus.
wait. If it's talking about Jesus, then it also has to be talking about the time present of Muhammad. So because Christians were worshipping Jesus at the time of Muhammad, correct?
That's
Yeah.
that
So
doesn't
then,
follow.
yeah, exactly. So listen.
No, your
No. Listen. No, because you're saying Mary and Jesus, both of them. So
That's a general statement.
it's a general
it
statement.
doesn't
Okay,
necessarily
but that
mean
general
that.
statement can also be at the present age.
Yeah, but
Because
it
there were
doesn't
people.
necessitate that it is at that present age.
Yeah, no, but there were people though in reality worshipping Jesus during the time of Muhammad.
But it doesn't
and
mean
it's
that that's what that verse is referring to. The verse is making a general statement. That's
general
not
statement.
temporal.
Oh, so you're talking about you're interpret.
I get what you're saying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the point makes sense.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is then it's down to interpretation. But anyway, regardless, if the
Most
Quran,
things are down to interpret how we understand
Yes,
the
yeah.
text. Sometimes our understanding can be wrong, but not necessarily the text.
and another thing I want to say, that, even with that, where it says that Jesus never told us to worship him. Well, we have external sources from the 2nd century or 3rd century, external historians saying that, I'm not talking about Joseph first, I'm talking about another person, I forgot his name, where he, not Classicus, it was someone else, I forgot his
Christians venerated Jesus like a god.
yes, him. So I'm pretty sure that was in the 2nd century. So there were external sources of people during.
Mention of Christians
Yes.
worshiping Jesus.
So is that for that period of time?
Jesus never said this.
Jesus never said it. So are you telling me during that time there were people who didn't worship Jesus, who followed Jesus but didn't worship Jesus as a
Say
god?
that, yes.
Yeah, like the
But how
Embryonic,
could
Nazarene.
what?
even Unitarians, some
I mean, the
Unitarians.
first century.
Yeah, I'm talking about prior Muhammad, prior Islam.
Yes,
Yeah,
Is it?
say that,
Okay.
Embryonic.
Fair enough.
or
Okay.
Jewish Christianity.
Jewish Christianity. Okay. Fair enough. Then I think it's just down to interpretation. But I wanted. There was also another tafsir that I had read on that. I need to go home and open it. Where
I
it
don't
had.
mean to hold you
It's
guys.
okay. Are you here next week?
I come every Sunday. Yeah.
Every Sunday.
But
Next.
you can ask me now. I'm not in a hurry. It's just picking up you guys.
I'll go home. I'll look up the tafsir. I'll screenshot because I don't have data on my phone.
No problem.
Because there was a specific tafsir that I was reading.
I can give you my email.
Oh yeah. Let me get your email. I'll email you. Or number. Number's even better. Yes.
Yeah.
Because there was a specific tafsir that I had read and it agreed with me and I was shocked.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know why I didn't screenshot it.
Have you
Well,
heard of a scholar by the name of Neil Robinson?
Neil Robinson, no, sorry.
So he was head of Islamic studies in Leeds University,
Yeah.
and he wrote a book called Christ in Islam and Christianity. And he speaks of like
No,
particular views.
what was your name again?
Naz.
Naz.
N-A-Z.
Naz. Okay, wait. So I will send you that tafsir and I'll show you how the tafsir for that specific verse agrees with my interpretation.
Okay, sure. I look forward to that. Do you have to give a summary of it?
Well, I don't want to give a summary for you,
In
man.
front of me?
No, I don't even want to.
I can just walk away
No,
and
I
you
don't.
can-
You're a nice person, man. There's nothing to summarize about you.
Okay, cool.
I just like having a discussion. There's no summary. There's no summary because he's a nice person. I like him. Don't say that. Don't say. Oh, I think I said. But yeah, he was a nice person. But the tafsirs agree with my interpretation. I'll send him the tafsir that I'm talking about. I just need to search it up again. It's authentic. It's from an Islamic website. I'll send it to him through WhatsApp, and then next week when we come, if he wants, I'll show it on camera as well. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'll take off.
It's fine. Which one is yours? This one?
This is it.
Need to. And then
I would say